A remarkable and powerful invention, the crossbow. It replaced the longbow, in many cases, the one you drew back to your ear, and had a bit of steel, or in this case fiberglass there, so you got a tremendous pull on it. And that string came back to a trigger, and you loaded it with these very small little arrows. When you pulled the trigger, ptung, off it went, so hard that it could actually pierce armour. I won't point it anywhere near anyone, even though it's not loaded, but that started the end of armour and the gun release, or the finish of it. Well, that's not the sort of thing you could go firing in your living room. However, a clothes peg crossbow is, and here's how you make it. You need this sort of clothes peg, the one which has two holes at the business end, big one and a little one, it's quite important. Little rubber bands, fine ones, cotton buds, they are the arrows, and bits of paper for targets. And for tools, you might need some scissors to cut the paper, but certainly a sharp knife and a pair of pliers will help you a lot. And the construction's very simple. First of all, you need to disconnect your clothes peg. It comes apart very easily. Just slide the two halves apart. And you have to do a bit of cutting with the sharp knife. Let's just get that apart. There we go. Make sure the spring doesn't come out. Now, the bits you want to lose, if I put those two together, you can see they're the same, are these bits here, those two big bulges at the end. So if I turn them and keep my fingers well away and just cut them off, we don't want them because otherwise they'd grab the arrow on its way out, and that wouldn't be too good at all. Very embarrassing to be an archer whose arrows stick in the crossbow. So they're gone. Now we need a bit which will hold the arrow in place and keep it pointing in the right direction. So you have to be fairly careful to make a little furrow in the second bulge right in the middle. Again, careful of your fingers. Little furrow there. And in exactly the middle, a little furrow on the other side. And that's going to hold the arrow in place if we're lucky. You may have to make 2 or 3 of these before they really work. The only other cuts we need to make are the ones that hold the rubber band in place. And they're around the ends of the thing, right in the middle. A notch there. And just finish it off there. And turn it round and do the same thing on the other end. Okay, and you do that on both sides of the peg. Well, I've done that, and if you do it and reassemble it, you'll find that you get this result. The furrows there, the front part of the peg is gone, and sitting back inside here, a little notch to hold the arrows. Well, in this case, I've got a red rubber band, so it shows up a bit more. The next thing you do is to put the rubber band round it. And make sure it's about as thin as that. If you use a very thick one here, it's going to be so powerful you can't load it, and also it'll slip off the end of the arrows. So a good fine one that sits inside there. Next step are the arrows. Very simple, these. Take the cotton bud and snip it exactly in 2, and that'll give you arrows of the right length. But that end is so round that it won't sit on the crossbow. So just like the real things, you have to make a bit of a notch in it. Flatten it out with pliers or something similar, and just cut a little notch in that too. And that's where the bowstring will sit. Make it a fairly shallow notch, otherwise it might grab the bowstring and you'll be stuck as before. Okay, now we're ready to try it. The bowstring is in position. We put the arrow on it, push it down past those bits that we've cut off, into the little furrow that we've cut in the second bulge, release the peg, and if everything's right, it'll hold it, ready for you to press the trigger. Then all we have to do is to put up the targets, and remember, the smaller the target, the bigger the score. These are just bits of paper. Mark off the range, in this case 1, 2, 3 hands for a starter. Rest your crossbow on the ground or hold it, whichever you like. Line up your targets, work out how many arrows you're going to get, and have a field day. Nope. We'll have to align it again. You'll probably find a little bit of checking and balancing is needed to tune the thing, and that was just the same as the real crossbows. Bullseye.